monkey, and the tracks led us to this male leopard with the help of some monkeys alarm calling. The monkeys spotted this leopard from about half a mile away, interestingly, and he's thankfully just headed south off our northern boundary where we found him, and it looks like he's going to take us for a stroll deeper into Djuma. Let me reposition quickly, because of course we do want to try and get you some better. There's a little bit of a mitre drain here. That's the little drain. That's the funny reversing manoeuvre. And there's a small firebreak road that runs parallel to the northern boundary, and I'm guessing he's going to get onto that and continue before he probably takes another road as he continues to patrol this new patch of territory. Now, interestingly enough, it wasn't too long ago far forward, because I know full well that he is coming towards us, and that way we'll get some great views without much. Here he comes. Wonderful. Now I'm guessing he's going to scent mark in this bush. These specific trees are actually like jumping up into and rubbing their body against. Let's see if he does it. It's a wattle, because the leaves are so soft and smooth. Look at that beautiful orange glow. Hello, boy. He sure does know how to cast a stare. And we heard some fascinating information. It's not yet 100% confirmed, but there is a strong likelihood that we've actually... Well, not we. I'm not sure actually who it was that worked it out. It could have been James Richards, one of our safari detectives who told us called Crocodile Bridge. And I'm guessing that's absolutely awesome if it... Well, exciting stuff for Steve to follow up on foot with, on bushwalk. I've got the sweet smell of buttered popcorn filling my nostrils, and that is thanks to his scent mark. It's one of the most incredible things I find out here is that, like I said, their urine and their scent mark smells like freshly buttered popcorn. Who would have thought? We're having not a tough time, but we're just kind of having to balance between being too close to him and, you know, interfering and bothering him, and being too far away from him and then losing him within a second, because as you can see the grass is very long, but he's on a little bit of a pathway now. Watch your heads, everybody. And I'm just kind of negotiating with this thick grass. Even now, he's just completely disappeared. Oh no, there he is. Got him. Fear not. He's heading towards quite a big termite mound that I'm hoping he's going to go and perch himself on. That would be a wonderful thing. And the sun is also... Oof, the sun's just poking up over the horizon. So if he does go up this termite mound, brace yourselves for some immense beauty. And... oh yeah, this is looking promising. I'm actually going to have to try and speed things up a bit. Hold on, a little bit of bouncy here. Slowly speeding is what this is. Ooh, if this works, we are in the money, like you cannot believe. There's a stump that prevented me taking that route that I wanted to. I was just in front of the hood of the vehicle. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to get into the spot that I wanted to for the time being, but if he does in fact go up that large termite mound, I'll be able to reposition. Now it looks like he's actually creeping into this area, which means he knows that warthog live in a small hole over there. There's a small little hole, and you can see he's creeping up slowly. I'm wondering if this isn't the very same hole where Noel saw this male catch a warthog not too long ago, and male leopards are notorious for knowing where warthogs live. Look at him just creeping up there, because they like to camp out at the kind of entrance of the burrow and wait for them to come out. And warthogs are late risers. They live a life of leisure. Look at him just very carefully snooping about you. Let me try reposition quickly. There's a couple of branches in the way, which we don't want. And I also want to kind of get out of the way of the entrance to the burrow. Oh, he's up the termite mound. And sadly, we're not in the best spot for now. But isn't this awesome? Absolutely magic. And you can see him peering down very carefully. He may well already know, sorry, let me just move the vehicle a little bit there. He may well already know that there are in fact warthog in there. He could have smelt them. He could have heard them. His senses are so much better than ours. And judging by his body language, we could well be in luck. Now, you're going to have to put your patient pants on, because this can be a very, very timious affair. We know of a male leopard who was the dominant male before Tingana. His name was it Tingana or was it Mvula? I actually can't remember. But one of those two sat on a termite mound for 2 full days, 48 hours, waiting for warthogs to come out of it. Look at how focused he is. With those menacing eyes of his, he's got very, very beady eyes. And this is absolutely awesome, and it's going to only get better as the sun continues to rise up. What a great start to the morning, everyone. It doesn't get any better than this. A picture-perfect morning, in my opinion. Drive out of camp within 5 minutes, find some tracks, follow the tracks. While I was out trying to work out where his tracks were going exactly, we heard the monkey's alarm calling, raced into that area, and voila, the jackpot. I don't know why I spoke in a French accent-ish there, but it is what it is. Dr. Rob, you are absolutely correct. He is glowing, and the fact that he's showing so much focus and intent together with this beautiful morning light is making for some really interesting scenes. Now, when it comes to identifying leopard, there's many different ways to go about it, but an easy way with this individual is the scar on his face, just kind of next to his left eye, which is obviously hidden behind the termite mound now, but as soon as he moves his face kind of back towards us, oh, look, he had a nick on his eye there. There's the scar. And look, there's a fresh, bloody nick above his right eye. And I'm wondering if that wasn't delivered to him, sorry, his left eye. I wonder if that wasn't delivered to him by the Shidulu female. We've got strong reason to believe that he was in fact mating with this female leopard, and when leopards mate, it's quite a feisty affair. So maybe a showdown with another male leopard. He's got a lot on his plate at the moment as he continues to increase his territory and push deeper into Djuma. We've only been seeing him since the beginning of December. That was the first time we bumped into him, and I'm giggling because we've just got a wonderful, wonderful remark from, is it Gorgeous Cycad? Who just said he looks like, oh no, it's not Gorgeous Cycad. It's the Awkward, and I'm getting everything confused here. The viewer's name is Orchid, and he looks like a gorgeous psycho, according to you. I think that is a great way of summing him up. He does look very, very mean indeed, and when we first came across him and I drove past him, he really does look straight through you with those beady eyes. Have you had a long night, boy? It looks like you're almost taking this opportunity to kind of multitask and have a bit of a snooze. Ooh, is he beginning to drool? I think he is. His mouth is literally drooling. with the anticipation of some bacon for breakfast. And it'll be really interesting to see how much more he begins to drool. And I guess that is a further and wonderful indicator that he is, in fact, aware that there is some warthog in there. Maybe I was just dreaming, but I did see when his mouth was kind of slightly differently positioned to what it is now. It looked like he was, in fact, drooling. Guys, look at how great these views are. How cool. Now, he's not in the best position unless, of course, this kind of termite mound has multiple entrances to the burrow, because if the warthog comes shooting out of this small hole, he is going to be left in a cloud of dust in his current position. But let's wait and see what happens here. I'd love to know what he's thinking. He's looking at us kind of as if, I don't know if you want us to help you. But you've certainly got a bit of a strange look about you today, Mr. Hukumuri. Louise suggests, no, Louise is directing the safari, she suggests that he possibly thinks we his waiters, and we're not really doing our job properly. We haven't set the table yet, we haven't got his cutlery ready. I think that's a great way of summing it up, Lou. Maybe it's just because I'm not wearing my proper waitering uniform. Okay, well, I wasn't looking very closely, but I'm told that he just did, a little drop of saliva did just come falling off his chin, so it looks like he is in fact salivating. His mouth is watering. Magical, magical stuff. And we're going to stay put here. Like I said, it could take quite a while for anything to materialize here, and we'll be sure to call you back as soon as any excitement unfolds. But for now, back to Taylor, who's got some excitement of her own. Well, no major developments just yet. He has repositioned ever so slightly. As of we've tried to move a little bit further away, just to make sure we're not in the way of things, as in when the warthogs possibly come flying out of this burrow. Now, because we've got such an exciting scene unfolding here, we are going to welcome on board some extra passengers on this safari, and I'll let you know just before we do that. I'll need to keep quiet for a second, and I'm going to do that right now. Hello everyone, and welcome on board this live safari. As you can see, there's a big male leopard up on that termite mound. He's looking very, very intently downwards, and the reason being is there's a small little hole over there, and within that hole are some warthogs. Now, I certainly haven't seen any warthogs or heard any, but judging by his body language, I think he knows full well that there are some in there. You can see he's moving around very, very carefully. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Scott, and I am teamed up with Dave on camera. It's great to have you guys with us. Please pop as many questions as you can in the comment box below. Now, this is an affair that could take a long time to unfold. Warthogs are animals of leisure. They kind of like to sleep in, and they may kind of have an idea that he's here. They know full well that leaving their burrows early in the morning is a very, very dangerous time for their day, and they could, with their good hearing and smell, possibly have sensed him, heard his footsteps on that termite mound. Who knows, but you can tell that he is certainly very, very focused, poised and ready to pounce. What a beautiful scene. Now, interestingly, this male leopard is a newcomer onto our area, and he's actually pushing out our older dominant male. So, somewhat of an imposter. It's of course a natural thing to happen. Young males come in and push the older males out, and it's a very exciting time for us. We've only started seeing him from mid-December last year, so he's a newcomer on the block. Jane, yes, he is certainly very, very intent, and he's got his work cut out for him, because, as I said a bit earlier, this could take quite some time, and I know of a case where a male leopard has perched himself in a similar position to this for 48 hours, with the knowledge that the warthog will eventually have to leave. I can't remember if he actually got lucky with making a kill, that male, but imagine that. Imagine investing 2 full days waiting for a warthog to come barreling out of the burrow. Dina, now you'd like to know if he's specifically kind of going to try and target the youngsters, or would he be able to take down an adult if it came out? Well, the last time he caught a warthog, and it wasn't too long ago that he did, it was in kind of January that he caught a warthog doing just this. He caught one of the youngsters and actually swatted the mother on her nose as she tried to come out. Adult warthogs will try and defend their youngsters, but against a big male leopard, they've got their work cut out for them. With female leopard, which are much smaller, warthogs have a better chance of trying to free up a young piglet that may have been caught. And another thing is that the warthogs were kind of born in November, December, the warthogs of this season, or the youngsters. So they've already got fairly big. I mean, still no match for a leopard, but I wouldn't call them piglets anymore. They're kind of medium-sized warthogs. Absolutely awesome stuff. Kylie, well, I'm very, very happy to hear that you are all the way in Australia, in Brisbane, at work, sitting at your office desk, enjoying this incredible scene unfolding. And you're right, it is absolutely astounding that we can be coming to you live from the African wilderness, showcasing some really incredible action unfolding. And I hope you're having a good day at work, and I hope your boss doesn't catch you. There's a bit of a breeze blowing, and that may help the leopard. Slight little breeze will help muffle any kind of noises that it may make as it kind of slinks around this termite mound. Kylie, our director of the show this morning, suggests that maybe rather than hiding from your boss, you should go and tell them about Safari Live and get everyone on board. Maybe you can get a Safari Live TV put up in your offices. And then everyone can join in the fun. Okie dokie. Amy, you'd like to know if the warthogs can smell him. I did kind of touch on that, the fact that maybe they could, but it would be unlikely. It would require a really unique wind to be able to blow, and obviously the leopard's positioning, to blow his scent down into the burrow. And it seems like the wind is kind of blowing from left to right, which means that his scent will be actually blown away from the entrance. So I don't think they're going to be able to detect that. Now I wonder how relaxed these warthogs are, and Kylie, you've just mentioned that you are the boss, so that helps. Good stuff. Well, I wonder how many people do spend hours of their working day on the payroll watching Safari Live. And I'm glad that you agree that you think it's a good idea that we should put up kind of Safari Live TV in your office for all your employees. You can maybe give them a treat when there's action. You can tell them to stop work for a few minutes and join us on Safari in Africa. You can see a few scars on his face, and interestingly, just above his left eye, there's quite a recent nick. Difficult to see with the way his head's positioned, but you may see a slight pink tinge above his left eye, and that could well be from a recent bout of mating. We found his tracks about 4 or 5 days ago alongside a female leopard, and we are guessing that they were in fact mating. And when leopards mate, it's quite a feisty affair, and the reason being is that it's a painful experience for both male and female. So after the copulation, when the male dismounts, it creates pain for both of them due to the fact that he's got a barbed penis, and they both kind of lash out at one another. So he could have got a stray claw from one of his lovers. Or is he thinking of moving? You can imagine being poised for long periods of time. Your kind of muscles start to get sore, and maybe that's why he's moving. Or maybe it's because he can hear the warthogs getting restless, thinking about starting their day, coming out of this burrow. Now, as and when they do start to come out, what normally happens is that all you kind of see initially is a nostril, and very, very slowly they kind of inch their noses out of the burrow. They do have quite sharp tusks, so they come out with their pointy end first, so as to try and obviously throw off any predators that may be waiting for them. But yeah, all we can expect to see initially is a kind of nostril and a tusk, and slowly, inch by inch, they'll make their way further out until they've got a feeling that it's safe, in fact, to move. And then they literally go from 0 to 100 in a few seconds and come rocketing out of that burrow. And I've once actually seen a young male leopard in a very similar position to this have 5 warthog come barreling out of the burrow before he could even move a muscle. He kind of just looked up at us after all the 5 warthogs disappeared and kind of shrugged his shoulders. He was like, whoop, blew that one, didn't I? But it does give you an idea how quick the prey species are. And even though he's in quite a fortunate position here to ambush these warthog, he still has his work cut out for him. Okay, team. Well, we are very happy that you guys joined us. And if you would like to continue following this live safari action and would like to know what happens, you can just Google Safari Live and continue joining us on our scheduled broadcast, which is going to continue for another 2 hours. Otherwise, you can just wait for some more notifications, and we'll be sure to keep you guys updated as and when things heat up here. But for now, thank you and goodbye until next time. Okay, everybody, there's this kind of awkward silence. We have to keep quiet for a few seconds after we've said goodbye to everyone, hence the fact that I didn't say anything. And I wonder how many people are going to continue watching after that little teaser. Very good. Well, we certainly aren't going anywhere. But you are. You're going to go back onto the bushwalk with Steve. I'm not too sure exactly what's happening over there. Yes, it's patient pants all around here. And it's really, really interesting to see how still he's been keeping. But he just ever so slightly keeps tilting his head from side to side, listening intently. The warthogs must be really beginning to stir within the mound. And that is what will be exciting him and causing him to kind of keep incredibly focused on the entrance/exit of their burrow. I wonder how many warthog are in there. Time will tell. How much time? Well, again, only time will tell. But awesome stuff here. I hope Taylor does get lucky on her search with Tundi. I'm not sure if she's had any luck with any tracks yet or any sign of where they may have gone. They're not too far. Sadly, it is quite close to our eastern boundary where she had that kill. I mean, only about 100 meters or so. But it would have been quite easy to see her tracks crossing. Thankfully, that boundary road has got very soft sand, so the fact that Taylor hasn't seen any tracks heading off there means that hopefully Thandi has headed deeper into Djuma. This is looking good. Still no sign of any warthogs poking their noses out of that hole. But something must be happening, because you can see him trying to kind of lean his head further forward. I mean, maybe from up there he can actually see the warthog's nose beginning to slowly creep out. From our angle here, not so much. But we are in the perfect spot to watch this action unfold. We couldn't be positioned any better. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time until we start seeing the warthog. It's a nice cool morning. It would be nice to have some sunlight for the pictures, but to be honest, this cool weather is very, very pleasant. There's a bit of a breeze that's picking up slowly as the morning progresses, and that's definitely going to bode in his favour. Still blowing from kind of left to right, so they're not going to have any chance of picking up his scent if the wind continues to blow in this direction. And just the slight rustling of the grass and the leaves will help muffle his movements as he tries to inch forward. I was just telling Dave, it's not the best kind of termite mound regarding its architecture for him to position himself somewhere comfortable, yet close. He's quite, actually, in my opinion, quite far from the entrance to the burrow, even though it's only a couple of meters. It's that strange kind of really steep, pointy slope to his right that makes it kind of awkward for him to get into a good spot. Now, one thing that could happen, I mean, I could be wrong about us actually slowly seeing the nostrils of the warthogs poking out before they decide to hit the ejector seat and come rocketing out. So be ready for that at any second. There could just be a cloud of dust and pigs flying out of this burrow once they decide to make the move. It's always interesting when you get these kind of prolonged ambush hunts, how the leopard can often start looking a little bit sleepy, and on a few occasions I've actually known leopard to fall asleep in a situation like this, and the prey kind of slowly moves away while they're snoozing. Who knows how far he's been moving last night and what he's been up to the last few days. He's certainly looking hungry though, and I'm feeling confident that something epic is going to happen here. But for now, we're going to send you back to Taylor to see how she's getting along.
I know hyenas of Djuma. So here we go. Here's one of them. We've come back to where Thandi had her kill last night, and we're just having a little look around here. So here's a culprit that would have most certainly devoured that carcass. And now that it is lighter, I've been able to see all sorts of tracks, from hyenas to elephants and, of course, leopards. And I did see the cub tracks as well moving off. So Thandi obviously roped up, not Rebel Wilson, and it took her away to safety, which is good news. But I think this little hyena is just coming around and sort of lurking, as they do. They're great lurkers, to see if there are any scraps. And what I want to do, now that it's disappeared down there, I just want to poke my nose in. Might get another sight of it now. If you do know which hyena that is, you're welcome to let me know. I haven't got a clue who it is. This is where the carcass was. It was tucked away in here. And you can see there is not even a scrap left. Nothing. What a pity. Next time. I just wanted to have a double, quadruple check. It's always good to do that, especially when you've got the light on your side. Now, it was obviously a little bit difficult earlier between the beehive, not being able to see any footprints. Not a great combination. Now it's a little bit better, though. Let me turn around. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, don't roll. Don't think it's anything. I think it's leaves. No, soil. No stress. I just saw something that looked a little bit different, so I thought I'd quickly check with my binoculars. Now, Picker, you've asked if maybe that was the hyena with the big feet. No, I don't think so. I'm going down the road. Let's see where it goes. No, I don't think that this was the hyena with the big feet. We might be able to check, because it's walking on the sand. Shall we have a look? And we can see. I would imagine it would be a massive matriarch. The hyena with the big shoes. Hyena, where are your footprints? Nah. These are small in comparison. Although its feet does look a bit big for its body. I'm going to follow it up. Now we've got following the leopard tracks and the hyena. We'll just follow the hyena down the road for the little bit. It's not like we've got anything else. And I have lost my male leopard tracks, but we will go towards Quarry Pan at some point. Come back! We're going! Can you come on the road, please? No. Not partaking. Now, something that hyenas do very, very well is follow other predators, and they love to do that with leopards. So I'm also intrigued to see where it goes. Maybe it's going to lead us to another leopard. Who knows? Now it's lost in the long grass. So let me jump up ahead. It's all heading in this direction. Heading back towards Cheetah Cut Line now. So you can see. Where'd you go, hyena? So yeah, grass is so tall. So what we'll do is we'll just basically just keep driving very, very slowly and try and keep up with it. I'm also looking for other clues as to where we could be going. Come on, keep up. We haven't got all day. Yeah, sometimes these animals, they just take their time. Where is the next gap that we're going to see it? See, the problem is now, I'm not going to off-road for this hyena because it's a bit silly. And there's lots of loss, but I'm going to stop here. Maybe we're going to get a gap. Let's see if we can get one gap. Oh, we might. Coming this way. There we go. Get your screenshots to help you identify. But we'll keep following the hyena and hopefully it stays nice and close to the road. Steve hasn't got a hyena. He's got something much prettier.
Well, good luck, Steve, and happy that you had what sounds like a great sighting of that butterfly. They can be tricky customers, the butterflies. Anything that flies really can be tricky for us. Nothing has changed here. But the clock is ticking, and these warthogs are going to start getting hungry. I was just telling Dave, I haven't spent enough time at a warthog burrow recently to actually know what time they are ordinarily starting their day. But there's no two ways about it. They do like to sleep in. So it could be just normal behavior that they haven't poked their head out, or it could be that they have got a suspicion that something is going on over here. I'm thinking of staying another 10 or 15 minutes where we are positioned here. And if we still don't see any sign of the warthogs, I'm thinking of possibly repositioning the vehicle a little bit further away and seeing if that doesn't possibly change the outcome of what's going on here. It could be that these warthog have heard us, and that's what's making them a little bit nervous, but I'm not convinced that is the case yet. Dr. Rob, you'd like to know if the warthogs can feel him walking on top of the termite mound. I don't think so. I think they'd be able to hear him. It's an incredibly dense and solid structure, that. So I think it's going to be hearing that gives him away. And he definitely moves very, very carefully and quietly as he can. So I think he too thinks that it's the audio that could possibly give him up. Oh, what's happening here? No, I think he may have taken that opportunity to move because there was a gust of wind that blew. And that gust of wind provided him with a little bit of ambient noise to muffle his movements. It was literally in perfect conjunction with a gust of wind that blew that he began to move there. Either that or the warthogs are stirring below, or possibly both. But that little kind of shift in his body there was almost the most we've seen him move all morning since he's been perched up on this castle. Incredible focus and intent. Snazzy, you would like to know if a leopard would eat a snake, and yes, they certainly do. I've only heard of them attacking and eating pythons. I remember once when I started my guiding career coming around a corner and seeing a massive 4-meter python draped over the branches of a marula tree. The big male leopard had killed that. And yeah, it's not uncommon for them to catch and kill pythons, but again, like I say, I've never heard of them catching and eating any smaller snakes. I'm sure it would have happened. A puff adder would be a good one, a big sluggish puff adder. I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard of or seen any interesting leopard on snake interactions, but yeah, for me, it's only the African rock python that I've seen or heard of them attacking. It's really interesting to see they kind of obviously are scared of the snakes, and the snakes lash out at them, and it's their agility and reflexes that they rely on, and they kind of slap the snake on the head, trying to sink their claws into its skull, and obviously they'll bite onto it as soon as they do get a good grip on it. But it's a really interesting thing to witness. I don't think it's something we've ever seen here on Safari Live, but as the days and months and years go by, I'm sure it is something that we will be able to share with you at some point in time. Sadly, the Sabi Sands doesn't have the highest python population and also not the biggest pythons. But there are other areas of Africa where you do find more pythons as well as leopards, and I'm sure that would obviously increase the likelihood of that happening. And that's why I keep urging you to phone friends, join the Safari Disciple Club, and keep spreading the word for us, because it's quite a simple equation. The more people that are on board these safaris means the more locations we can take you to. And the more hours of live safari action you can tune into every day. Yes, so spread the word and we will spread the locations. How's that for a simple deal? One interesting Panthera on reptile scene that I would love to share with you are the jaguars hunting the caimans in the Pantanal. Wouldn't it be epic if we got ourselves there? There have been some incredible moments captured of those jaguars doing their business, hunting and swimming through the rivers, pouncing on caimans. Oh, well, thanks very much, Anne, for sending through some info on another male leopard that we used to see quite a lot of, not so much anymore because he's moved off further to the east, but there was a male called Quarantine, and you say that you remember seeing him playing with a puff adder on the dam cam. So interesting stuff. It doesn't sound like he succeeded in killing it, but he definitely, I think, was thinking about it by the sounds of things. So thanks, Anne. That's great to know. Okay, well, I think I'm going to reposition the vehicle, get us a little bit further away from the mound and see if that doesn't help the situation and maybe increase the likelihood of these warthogs coming out. And while we do that, we're going to send you across to Taylor, who's found some elephants. Still no changes here other than us repositioning. We a little bit further away from the mound now. And still no sign of the warthogs just yet. But judging by his body language, he knows they're in there. And I'm hoping that sooner rather than later, some kind of action materializes. But there's no way of knowing as and when that's going to happen. I'm also hoping Steve gets lucky with those leopard tracks that he's following. It'll be wonderful if we can get you a few more leopards on screen today. So an update on the Hukumuri pride, some other predators in this area, and they are sadly quite far north from our northern boundary. Now, Mobile Paddy, you would like to know kind of how leopards work with regards to their ability to keep time and be aware of kind of time frames, and have related that to, you know, a leopard mating with a female and then being able to work out if, in fact, the kind of timing correlates with when the cubs pop out, to know whether it's his or not. And yes, I'm guessing they definitely are aware of that. You know, this guy will know that he's only come into the areas recently, so any cubs that he comes across will probably not be his, and he'll obviously know that he wouldn't have mated with those females. But in quite a few scenarios, you'll find leopardess mating with multiple females to give them all a kind of false sense of who the father could be. And I guess then all those males will just think, well, the time frames add up, so it could be my kid. But again, it's just the sneaky moves of the females. I'd also like to know if he's kind of better in tune with when warthogs come out of their burrows than when I am. If he kind of planned to get you at a specific time with the knowledge that he'd be kind of waiting at the right moment for them to come out. Oh, a little bit of movement there. Now, whenever he moves, it makes me think that the warthogs are moving, which is enticing him to try and get a better view of what's going on. Now, I forgot to thank and kind of correct myself a little bit earlier, and to thank Mike, who was responsible for finding out this interesting... Oh, what's he doing there? To thank Mike for finding out this interesting info regarding this male leopard and where he was seen 2 years ago, about 100 kilometers away from here. I must actually get out a map and work out exactly how far it is. But I'm guessing, yeah, possibly 100 kilometers, who knows, maybe 100 kilometers is probably the long end of it. But a long distance he's moved from 2 years ago to now. Obviously, he was still a youngster back then, still establishing himself and kind of learning the ways of the wild. He's looking more intent now than I have seen him the whole morning, so things could escalate here very quickly at any second. So, Mike, thanks very much for that info. And some more info from the person that I initially thought provided us with the info regarding the Hukumuri male and his origins around an area in the Kruger called Crocodile Bridge. James Richards, you've provided us with some other interesting information this morning regarding a epic sighting that was had, sadly not with any of us and you, but in the area with Tundi and her son, Tumba, who's now independent. And basically what happens is they stumbled upon a brown snake eagle that was busy attacking a black mamba and trying to kill it. And then Tundi came in and tried to steal the black mamba away from the bird. Did she manage? I can't remember. I've seen the clip, but I can't remember if she actually killed the snake eagle that was like kind of obviously busy trying to kill the snake. And then I'm not even sure if she managed to kill the snake, but it was an incredible encounter between a snake, a bird, and a leopard. I don't know if I'm imagining things. Let's take a close look in the hole there, Davy. I thought I may have seen a little bit of movement there. Are there any warthog nostrils or ears poking out there? Doesn't look like it for now, but I thought there could have been some movement there. Oh, and some other really interesting information regarding this male leopard. It was actually a photograph taken by one of our Safari Live fans. I'm not too sure of your name. It's a woman, and that is all I know. And she was obviously on safari 2 years ago, took a photo, and then kind of pieced the puzzle together. So epic stuff. It sounds like there could be a number of you involved in unveiling this interesting information regarding him. And for those of you who don't know, he's been incorrectly named the Hukumuri male. Not too sure exactly who, but let's not point fingers because it doesn't really make a difference. But a group of guides somewhere just assumed that this was the son of the Hukumuri female leopard, who spends time to the south and west of us. But he in fact is not. It sounds like he should be called the Crocodile Bridge male, from whence he comes. But I guess we can cross that bridge of possibly renaming him in the future. But again, a name's just something to give reference to, and so that we can build on and follow on up on their life, and so can other people. Wonderful stuff. Well, again, we're going to stay put, hoping that something is going to unfold here. I'm guessing that it is just a matter of time, but time will tell. And we're going to send you back across, I think it is, to Taylor. Action. This guy has lowered himself. I'm not sure if it's because he's kind of just trying to alleviate the muscles that he's been working as he's been perched there for quite some time. Or maybe it's because he can hear more rustling coming from the burrow. Hard to be certain. But a slight change in his posture. I'd really love to know how much of them he can hear and exactly what noises they're making in there. I can't hear a thing. But you see, he's just tilted his head, and also obviously he heard something which caused him to kind of peer back across towards the hole. Yeah, those garden orb-web spiders are absolutely beautiful. Sadly, not nearly as many around as normal, as Steve said, but really happy that you got some great views of them. Now, something also to kind of bear in mind is that he definitely knew he was approaching this mound and that there was warthogs in here. So who knows how many times he's tried to hunt these specific warthogs, and whether he's managed to already catch some from this family. And interestingly, quite a few of you guys have already mentioned a little bit earlier that it does appear to be the same termite mound where we have in fact witnessed him catching a warthog before. Not long ago, I think it was in January, that he succeeded in catching a warthog in this area. So thanks for those of you who did send through your thoughts on that. It's quite a unique termite mound, so I guess it shouldn't be too hard to know whether it was in fact the exact one. Okay. Well, we've got some more insight onto the scenario of this male leopard being documented very far from here in an area called Crocodile Bridge. So thanks, Mike, for clearing up exactly what happened. And the story goes that Mike found a leopard somewhere, I think just on Facebook, a picture of this leopard, and then put it on a group because he thought it was a similar looking leopard to Hukumuri. And then we established that it was in fact him, and then some research and assistance came through from James, because James managed to find out exactly who took the picture and when, and I think it was a lady called Jerry, or Dee. Thanks, Dave. Sorry, I think I got the names wrong there. Yeah, not Jerry. A lady called Dee, who actually took this picture and confirm exactly when it all happened, which was in 2015. Incredible. What would also be kind of nice on the flip side is to know of any young male leopards that we have grown up with and got to know here, and how far they may end up in the opposite direction, deeper into the Kruger. And it is really wonderful how social media and technology is allowing us to kind of piece together these puzzles, as it really is some fascinating information and research that can come about from just kind of working as a team and as a community without having to necessarily put collars on animals or interfere with their lives in any way in order to gain that information. So thanks, team. Well done, Mike, James, and Dee, for providing us with a real gem of information. Kylie, you'd like to know how long has he been sitting here for, and for about an hour and 20 minutes is my guesstimate as to how long he's been here for. I think we came onto the scene at 6:15 and it's now 7:35 here in South Africa. So quite some time, and who knows how long he will be willing to perch here. As I mentioned a bit earlier, there's accounts of leopards waiting for 48 hours in a similar scenario to this. KB, you've brought up an interesting point, and that is that you're surprised that no other animals, namely birds, have detected him yet and started squawking and kind of alarm calling at him. And I agree with you, but when you think about it, if you have spent some time following leopards and us on the move and doing their business, they can go for long periods of time without actually being spotted by anything. And that's also what makes our lives difficult in finding them. So it's not, that they're permanently getting mobbed or hounded by animals, be it birds or monkeys. Monkeys helped us find him this morning, or antelope. Ooh. What's going on there, Mr. Hukumuri? One of you suggested a little bit earlier that we could possibly call him Krokumuri, a hybrid name. Now that we know where he's come from. And that was from Lewis. Let's take a close look at that burrow again and see if we can't see any ears or nostrils poking out. No. I don't know if you guys can see anything. I can't see anything there for the time being. Oof, the sun's just started poking out from between the clouds, and it's incredible how quickly my body is warming up from those golden rays. Alrighty. Well, we're going to stay put, of course. We wouldn't leave this sighting unless we were forced to at gunpoint. And even then, I'd probably put up a little bit of a fight. So fear not, we're going to stay put and send you across to Taylor, who's still bumbling about. So, he's actually been shifting around a little bit, and he's just gone back up to the spot where we've seen him for the majority of the morning, but he had kind of moved slightly lower down onto the mound, kind of towards where that little stump is there on the bottom right of the screen. And he then very carefully and stealthily crept back up, being as quiet as he possibly could. But he seems to have got quite comfortable up there. He lay down up there. And I'm wondering if we don't need to position the vehicle even further away from where we are. I am thinking of doing that, because I don't want to be causing this bacon to stay hidden away from him. So I just rather err on the side of caution. And like I say, maybe we just need to try and get a bit further away. It will mean that we're going to be obviously sacrificing the shot and the angles the further we go away, because it is quite thick vegetation. But we'll give it a few more minutes here, and if nothing changes, then, like I say, I think I will get us a little bit further away from the mound. Maybe that will help the warthog's minds become a little bit more at ease. Every time he kind of twitches his head like that and focuses back on the hole, it obviously means he's hearing something in there. And yes, Ginger, he definitely can hear the hogs inside there. I'm certain of it. Little grunts between one another, deciding what they should do. We haven't heard anything though, but I am very, very confident that he has. He knows categorically that there must be termites, warthogs in this termite mound. Otherwise, he wouldn't have invested so much time here, and he also wouldn't have been displaying the same body language that we've seen. Just again, another little head tilt there. Each time he does that, it's because he's hearing them. KB, you'd like to know if heat may cause the warthogs to exit the termite mound as the sun bakes down on us, and I don't think so. It's quite temperate in there, and I think, maybe by midday it'll start getting hot and sticky in there, but for the time being I think it is going to be fairly cool. And also, if you think of, animals like hyena, whose cubs will spend a lot of time in those mounds throughout the course of the day, if they can survive in there, I'm sure the warthogs can too. So I don't think that's going to assist him. Mrs. Grumpy, you suggest that he's possibly eaten all these warthogs already, but he's got the empty packet chip syndrome, where even though you know it's empty, you keep reaching in hoping to find a few more crumbs. It's possible, but highly unlikely. I think he knows full well what's going on inside that mound. Okay, I think I'm going to reposition now and get us a little bit further away and see if that doesn't help things. So let's see what we can do here, and while I do that, we are going to send you back to the fly-infested Taylor McCurdy. Yes, I'm not too sure if he's moving because he can hear them moving, or if it's because he's giving up, or because he may want to try and find some shade. But it does, in fact, appear like he may be throwing in the towel here. Interesting stuff. He was just slinking away so quietly and cautiously. That's what made me wonder what exactly his plans were. Not sure if I could see him lying down there, or if it was just some grass blowing in the wind. Now, what to do? Just going to have to drive around and just make sure he hasn't decided to move on to greener pastures, because if he has in fact done that, then we don't want to be left behind. Let's creep forward here and see what the deal is. I guess he may just, even for future kind of hunts, he may not want them to know that he was there. Doesn't unnecessarily let them know what his plans are for the future, I guess. Or it may just be, like I said, that he was getting a bit hot and he wanted to get into some shade, but still stay nearby. Ashton, you'd like to know if he wouldn't try and dig them out? I mean, there's a small chance he may try and do that, but it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to do that. So it's usually futile attempts that animals like lion will perform. Well done, Dave. Dave's having to drop the antenna there as we negotiate this fairly thick bush. Oof, I hope I haven't wasted too much time here in my very slow movements into this area where I thought we might see him lying down. Oh, has he given us the slip? Can you? Okay. Okay, Dave can see him. Will this work from here, Dave? There he is. And well spotted, Dave. It seems like shade was his priority. He's definitely not in the best spot there if they do come barreling out. But obviously the heat was getting to him. Shana, you'd like to know if any other animals besides warthogs live in termite mounds and the old burrows within them. Yes, there are other animals that use them as their homes. Hyenas will use them as dens. Wild dog will use them as dens. Occasionally leopard will use them to keep their cubs in. Porcupine, aardvark will also live within them. Honey badgers may seek refuge in them. What other animals am I not thinking of that will use the termite mounds? Big pythons will definitely use old termite mounds, possibly as a place to lay and incubate their eggs. What else could there be? So, yeah, quite a few animals. Tortoises sometimes go in there. When they estivate during the winter months, they may seek refuge in a termite mound. Birds, even some swallows, will build their nests within the cavities in termite mounds. So yeah, quite a wide array of animals will use them, and they're very important structures, because of course without these termite mounds, a lot of those animals would battle to find a home. So termites aren't only very important when it comes to recycling nutrients that most other animals cannot process, old, dry, dead branches that nothing else wants to eat. The termites are happy to recycle and get back into the ecosystem. And they also make homes for animals while they do that. Very, very important animals. I guess just like flies, termites are a nuisance to us as humans, but they're hugely, hugely important in the ecosystems that we live in. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to stay put. 25 minutes or so left for these warthog to come out and allow this leopard to show us what he is capable of. So let's cross fingers that we're going to get lucky. For now, though, back to Steve on foot. Well, sadly, the leopard we found is currently snoozing in the shade and we can hardly see him, but we have to keep our distance because we don't want to interfere in the situation here. For any of you who may have just jumped on board, he has been sitting and waiting very patiently in and around a large termite mound for close on 2 hours now, and hasn't had any joy with the warthogs exiting the termite mound just yet, but it seems like he is going to settle in here for the day. He's taken a bit of a chance with what he's doing now. He's moved from the top of the termite mound where it's the ideal spot to launch the ambush from, and the reason being is that it's getting quite hot and sunny up there, so he's in kind of position B here, but at least he's in the shade. And I guess as and when he hears the warthogs beginning to rustle and possibly make their way out of the mound, he could stealthily creep back into a decent spot, but he's obviously content here for the time being. There you can just see a few spots in the grass, and it looks like his kind of head is flat and he's having a snooze. Who knows what he was up to last night and how much action unfolded, but you know, these animals do need to sleep, and they need to sleep for a lot more than we do every day. 16 to 20 hours of snoozing. I'd be a very good leopard. I'm an expert sleeper, unlike Taylor, who gets plagued by dinosaur dreams. I don't dream very much, and when my head hits that pillow, that's me, lights out until the alarm clock goes in the morning. It's a pity sleeping is an Olympic sport, otherwise I would be a gold medalist. I hope that continues. I've been lucky up till now. I'm hoping as I get older and possibly more mature, I may start thinking of more issues and problems that could keep me awake at night, but right now, don't have any issues there. It's going to be very, very interesting to come back here this afternoon and see if he's still here. Thankfully, I know where he's come from, and the road that he would pop onto if he continues in his kind of general direction of movement is quite an easy one to see tracks on. So, feeling confident even if he has moved, that at least we'll be able to work out what's happened, where he's gone. Or ideally we'll come back here and he'll have a warthog kill hoisted up in a tree. Alrighty. Well, the clock's ticking. We're going to need a small miracle for something to unfold in the next 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. So, happy thoughts. I mean, even if the warthog escape, you can be on either team here. You can be on the leopard's team or the warthog's team. But the warthog do need to leave the burrow at some stage. So, either way, I think we should egg them on. And whatever happens, happens thereafter. Nothing worse than a hungry warthog stuck in a burrow. Anyway, enough about that. We're sending you back to Steve. Thanks, Taylor. Not too much has changed, although Hukumuri does occasionally lift his head up and then lower it back into the grass. I'm not sure if he's hearing anything in there, or if it's just the wind rustling in the grass that's confusing him with possible audio of these warthogs that he's been waiting very patiently for over 2 hours now. And really looking forward to heading back here this evening and seeing what has happened whilst we've been away. Good prospects that he could still be here. And if not, I'm confident that his plans are to head deeper into Djuma, so we could have a treasure hunt on our hands trying to work out where he's gone. And it sounds like a number of other leopard whose tracks were in and around Djuma but weren't located, so at least they're around, and maybe during the course of the day they'll move into an easier spot for us to find them. So a big thanks for joining us on board. We hate being lonely on safari, so thanks very much for keeping us company and sending through all your thoughts and comments. Well done to Dave on camera and to Louise in the final control, who's directed the show. We will see you guys all on the sunset safari, and I'm just going to keep quiet for the last few seconds for you to enjoy the tranquility. See you next time.